So I'm actually done with the React chatting app now. Let me go to the quick demo right now. If I search in for any user, as you can see, it is going to display, it is going to filter out based on that what I typed. As you can see, this even pop-up also works. We can actually select in on any user. We can close it. We can actually send the message to that particular user. As you can see, we will be able to send that message. Let me go through the code right now. So this is the chat members component, this is the conversation component, this is the chat bar component, and this is the type message component. So let me go to the VS Code right now. We have records.json file over here, which contains objects, and for each object we have these keys and value pairs. Keys as id, name, content, and the values will be the name of that user, the content, and the messages that the user has sent me. Then these sent messages means the messages I send will be pushed into this array, and we will be able to map through that array and display the messages that I have sent. So that whenever the user clicks on the send button, he will be able to see the message that he sent. That's what I have shown right now. Let me go through the app.js file. Okay, so in the index.js file, we have actually wrapped app inside this context, so that app and its descendants will be able to access the context API. We will go to the context. As you can see, in the context we have the name, initial name, URL, and ID. All of the app and its descendants will be able to access the name, URL, and ID state. Let me go through the app.js file. This is the JSX file, and as you can see, over here we have these functions, constant, handle click, and handle change over here. If the user starts typing anything on the search bar, the username will be set to e.target.value, and handle click, if the user clicks on plus or into button, this will be toggled to true or false. Initially it is false because we do not want to show the pop-up of the contacts when the page gets refreshed. So this is what it means. And over here is all of the JSX file. This BS search means we have imported this icon from React. As you can see, if the show contacts is true, we are actually showing this icon, or else we will be showing the another icon. So that's what it means. So this is the chat members component that I have just shown you. We are sending in the username as the prop. This is the right div, which contains the chat bar and the conversation that I have just shown you. If the show context is true, we will need to map through all of the records and show the contact. As you can see, this is what it means. We have class name on click is equal to we will be setting the user context dot set name of record dot name of that particular record, so that we will be able to change the name and the image over here on the right hand side whenever the user clicks on any contact. So that's how that. So let us go to the chatbar.js. So this is the chatbar.js file. If the user context.id is not equal to 0, so initially it would be 0. So that's why we had seen a blank page. If it is not 0, then we will need to show the image, the name, and this icon. So we will get the URL and the name from the user context. As you can see, this is that icon which I was talking about. This is the name, the URL in the chat bar. So let me go through the chat members. So yeah, even in here we will actually iterate through the chats, and we'll map through all of the chats and display the chats over here. So this in here, if the username dot length is 0, that means the username has the user has not typed in anything on the search bar. If that's the case, or if the whatever the user has typed, if it is present in the username, then we will need to display that particular contact. So that's what it means. That is the reason why if you type in anything, it will actually filter out and show you the results. So this is all it for the chat members. In the type messages, this is the below bar. As you can see, the where the user can actually type in. Even over here, if the Even over here we have the handle click. If the user clicks on send button, then we will be actually able to push the message into the sent messages that I have discussed about in the records.json file. If the user starts typing in anything on the input, this set message will be called and it will actually re-render. It will actually set the state. We are just displaying the emojis, the send message and all of that. Type messages, conversation. So this is another component that I wanted to talk about. So use effect. So use effect will always be called whenever the user context.id changes. So that's what it shows. If the user clicks on any contact, then the this use effect will be called. Again, the whole app actually re-renders. If the context if the id changes, if the user context.id changes, then again the app gets re-rendered. As you can see, we will actually store all of the messages initially of that particular id in the messages array, and we will actually be able to display over here in the jsx file. We will be able to iterate through all of these messages over here and show it on the right hand side. So yeah, that's typically is it. And also over here, if the user context dot id is not equal to 0, that means any contact is being selected. That means then we can actually call this type message component, and sending push messages is equal to push message. The push message thing I have already talked about. It will actually push the message into the sent messages thing. The whole app gets rendered, and that array will be mapped, and it will be shown on the screen. Our messages will be shown. Okay, that is it for this quick demo. Thank you.